The Restaurant of Many Orders. Kenji Miyazawa. Two young gentlemen, fully dressed like British soldiers, were walking through the deep mountains, carrying gleaming rifles and accompanied by two dogs that looked like polar bears. As they crunched through the fallen leaves, they conversed as follows. I say, these mountains are really quite peculiar. There isn't a single bird or beast to be found. I don't care what it is, but I'd love to fire off a shot. Bang, 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 just to try it out. Wouldn't it be thrilling to land a couple of shots right into the yellow flank of a deer? It would spin around and then collapse with a thud. They were indeed deep in the mountains, so far in that even their guide, an experienced hunter, got a bit confused and ended up wandering off somewhere. The mountains were so eerie that the two dogs, which looked like polar bears, became dizzy at the same time. They barked for a moment, then foamed at the mouth, and eventually died. This is a loss of 2,400 yen for me, said one gentleman, lifting the eyelid of one of the dogs to take a look. I've lost 2,800 yen, said the other gentleman, shaking his head in frustration. The first gentleman, turning slightly pale, looked intently at the face of his companion and said, I think I'm ready to head back. Yes, I'm feeling quite chilly now and starting to get hungry. I think we should head back as well. All right then, let's call it a day. No matter, we can just buy some mountain birds for 10 yen at the inn on our way back. There were also rabbits available, right? In the end, it all comes to the same thing. Let's head back, shall we? However, the problem was that they had completely lost their sense of direction and had no idea which way led back. The wind howled around them, the grass rustled, the leaves crackled, and the trees groaned and swayed. I'm absolutely starving. My side has been aching for a while now. Me too. I don't want to walk any more than I have to. Neither do I. Oh, what a fix we're in. I'd give anything to eat something. Yes, I'd really like to have something to eat. As they were saying these things, standing amidst the rustling reeds, they happened to look back and saw a splendid Western-style house standing there. At the entrance was a sign that read, Restaurant Western Cuisine Wildcat House. Hey, this is perfect. It looks pretty well kept here. Let's go in, said one of them. Oh, how strange to find a place like this here. But anyway, I guess we'll be able to get a meal. Of course we will. It says so on the sign. Let's go in. I'm so hungry I feel like I'm about to collapse. The two stood at the entrance. It was made of white ceramic bricks, forming a truly impressive structure. A glass door stood there, with gold letters inscribed on it. Please do come in. There is absolutely no need to be reserved. The two were delighted to see this and said to each other, Isn't this amazing? The world really has a way of balancing things out. We had a rough day, but now we've come across a place as nice as this. It seems like this place is a restaurant, but they serve meals for free. That's what it looks like. Absolutely no need to be reserved must mean exactly that. They pushed open the door and stepped inside. Beyond it was a hallway. On the back of the glass door, written in gold letters, it read, Especially for those who are well-fed or youthful, we extend the warmest welcome. The two were thrilled at the mention of a warm welcome. Hey, that's us. We're exactly who they want. Indeed, we're both of those things. As they continued down the corridor, they encountered another door, painted in a sky blue color. This is quite a peculiar house. Why do they have so many doors? This must be the Russian style. In cold places or mountain areas, all houses are like this. As they tried to open the door, they noticed a sign in yellow letters above it that read, "Please be aware that this establishment is a restaurant with many special requests." It's clearly doing well, even out here in the mountains. That's for sure. Even in Tokyo, you don't see many big restaurants like this on the main streets. As they spoke, they opened the door. On the inside of it, there was another sign. "We may have many requests, but please bear with us." "What's this all about?" one of the gentlemen said, frowning. "It probably means that they have so many orders coming in that they take a while to prepare. But please be patient." "That must be it. I hope we can get into a room soon and sit down at a table." But to their dismay, another door awaited them with a mirror hanging beside it and a long-handled brush placed beneath. The door bore a message in red letters. "Dear guests, please tidy your hair and brush the mud off your shoes here." Well, that makes sense. I guess I underestimated this place just because we're in the mountains. It's a place with strict manners. Surely some very important people come here often. So they carefully combed their hair and brushed the mud off their shoes. But then, as soon as they placed the brush back on the shelf, it vanished in a puff, and a gust of wind blew through the room. The two men, startled, huddled together as they hastily opened the door and entered the next room. They both thought that if they didn't quickly find something warm to eat and regain their strength, they'd be in serious trouble. Inside the door, there was another strange instruction. "Please place your guns and ammunition here." Looking to the side, they saw a black shelf. Well, of course, it's improper to eat with a gun in hand. Yes, indeed. Some very important people must come here often. The two men removed their guns, unbuckled their leather belts, and placed them on the shelf. They encountered yet another black door. "Please remove your hats, coats, and shoes." What do you think? Should we do it? Seems like we have no choice. This place must truly be for distinguished guests. The two hung their hats and coats on hooks, took off their shoes, and padded through the next door in their socks. On the back of the door was another sign. "Please deposit your tie pins, cufflinks, glasses, wallets, and any other metal items, especially anything sharp." Next to the door was a black, well-polished safe with its door open and even a key attached. They must use some kind of electricity in the cooking. Metal objects can be dangerous, especially sharp ones. That makes sense. I wonder if the bill will be settled here on our way out. Looks that way. Yes, surely. The two gentlemen removed their glasses, took off their cufflinks, and placed all the items into the safe, locking it with a click. After walking a little further, they reached yet another door, in front of which was a glass jar. The door bore the instruction, "Please apply the cream from the jar thoroughly to your face, hands, and feet." They looked inside and saw that the jar indeed contained cream made from milk. What's the idea behind applying cream? I think it's because it's extremely cold outside, and the room inside is so warm that the sudden change might cause your skin to crack. They're trying to prevent that. It seems that very important people frequent this place. We might end up meeting someone from high society. The two applied the cream to their faces, hands, and then removed their socks to rub it on their feet. Since there was still some left, they both secretly pretended to rub it on their faces while actually eating it. When they quickly opened the next door, there was another sign on its back. Did you apply the cream well? Did you also put it on your ears? A small jar of cream was placed there as well. Oh, I didn't put it on my ears. That was close. I nearly cracked my ears. The host of this place is really meticulous. Yes, very attentive to detail. But I'm getting impatient. I really want to eat something. It's frustrating to keep walking through all these corridors. Just then, they reached the next door. Your meal will be ready soon. You won't have to wait more than 15 minutes. It will be served shortly. Please sprinkle the perfume from the bottle over your head. In front of the door was a shiny bottle of perfume. The two sprinkled the perfume onto their heads, but the scent was strangely reminiscent of vinegar. This perfume smells oddly like vinegar. What's going on? They must have made a mistake. Maybe the maid has a cold and mixed up the bottles. They opened the door and stepped inside. On the back of the door was a large sign. We apologize for the numerous requests and inconvenience. There's only one more thing left. Please rub plenty of salt from the jar thoroughly all over your body. There stood a splendid blue ceramic salt jar. For the first time, both men looked alarmed, staring at each other with their cream-covered faces. This seems really strange. I think so too. The numerous orders. It's us they're giving orders to. I see now. This so-called Western restaurant isn't a place where they serve food to guests. It's a place where they turn the guests into the meal. That means. They both began to shake uncontrollably, unable to speak. That means we? Oh no, they stammered, trembling even more. Run. One of the gentlemen shouted, pushing against the door, but it wouldn't budge an inch. There was another door ahead, adorned with a large lock and two keyholes shaped like a silver fork and knife. Above it was written, "Thank you for all your effort. Everything is ready now. Please come in and make yourselves comfortable." Through the keyholes, two blue eyes stared at them. "Oh no," they both cried, shaking uncontrollably. Inside, they could hear whispering. It's no use. They figured it out. They're not going to rub on the salt. Well, of course. The boss's instructions were sloppy. Writing, "We apologize for the inconvenience," was a big mistake. It doesn't matter. We'll never get any of the bones anyway. True. But if they don't come in, that's our responsibility. Let's call them in. Hey, dear guests, come on in. Everything is ready. We've washed the dishes and salted the greens. All that's left is to plate you up alongside the greens. Come on in. Or do you not like salads? How about we start a fire and fry you up instead? Just hurry up and come in. The two gentlemen were so distressed that their faces looked like crumpled pieces of paper. They gazed at each other's faces, trembling silently and crying. From inside, they heard mocking laughter followed by more calls. Come on in. You're wasting the cream by crying so much. Don't worry, we'll be right with you. Just come in quickly. Hurry up. The master is already waiting with his napkin and knife, licking his lips in anticipation. The two men cried and cried. Just then, there was a sudden woof. Woof, as the two polar bear-like dogs burst through the door, shattering it to pieces. The eyes at the keyhole vanished, and the dogs growled and circled the room. Then, with another loud woof, they leapt at the next door, which opened with a bang, and they dashed inside. From the darkness beyond, they heard a meow, grr, hiss, and then the sound of scuffling. The room seemed to vanish like smoke, and the two gentlemen found themselves standing shivering in the cold among the grass. Their coats, shoes, wallets, and tie pins were scattered around, hanging from branches or lying at the base of trees. The wind howled, the grass rustled, and the trees groaned. The dogs returned, growling, and from behind they heard someone shouting, "Hey, hey, sirs." The two men, suddenly revived, shouted back, "Hey, over here, quickly." The professional hunter, wearing a straw hat, came rustling through the grass to them. Finally, the two men were relieved. They ate the dumplings the hunter had bought a mountain bird for 10 yen on the way, and returned to Tokyo. However, their faces, once crumpled like paper, never returned to their original state, no matter how much they bathed, even after they got back to Tokyo.